Happy Pride Gremilinos. It is June 1st. But before we get into the books, oh, I should introduce myself. Hi, I'm Catherine. I am your favorite asthmatic, mostly 10-fingered chaos reader. But I get slightly less chaotic in June, mostly because all the books I read fall within the LGBTQ spectrum, either in author, plot, somewhere along those lines. They will fit the rainbow of reading for the month. But before I get into the books I'm reading in this one, because these ones are a little goofy, I need coffee. So let's go get coffee. I'm wearing my Yay for Gay shirt. I also have a themed mug ready, and let's go get coffee and then we'll get into the books. So to the kitchen, Gremilinos. All right, Gremilinos, in the time it took me to get upstairs, they're doing construction outside my house. So I had to close my window. Lighting will be weird. I don't have my fan on yet, but for the rest of these clips, if I update you in my office, my fan will be on. Also, please don't judge the pompadour. It's not perfect. I have not done a pompadour since my 20s, like late 20s, actually early 20s. And I had to use hairspray and 3 bobby pins. And I remember using more bobby pins and pomade when I used to do it, but I know it works with hairspray. I just have to get used to like shaping my hair again, but I wanted to try it out for today. This is my fun coffee mug, which you've already seen. Okay, giant sip of coffee. Now to get into the books, because somehow, unintentionally, most of the books I'll be reading in this vlog are Libby holds. I have had 3 Libby holds out for like almost the duration of their loan. So I have to speed through 3 Libby books in like the next 3 days. Like I gotta read a book a day to get these back in time. They are all queer books or have some queer element in them. And I say that because one of them, I don't know if it's one short story in a larger book, but every time this book is brought up, it is called sapphic. Like everyone mentions that it is a sapphic book. Like there is a sapphic plot in it. So that's what it is. Also, I had a 4th book come in that I was like, oh, I completely forgot I requested this. So also okay. So I'm very curious. But the first book, the book we're getting into first, the book I gotta read today because it's due tomorrow. It literally says one day. And I actually had to wait a little to talk to you because I had left my iPad unplugged. I just have an iPad that I read ebooks on. And it was at 15%. And I was like, no, why? What have I done? So I charged it enough so that I could do this and read a little because I do have a little time before work. So I do want to get started on this. So the first book I'm going to be reading is Decomposition Book by Sarah Van Oss. It's a very cool cover. And the reason we're reading this is solely because this was billed as Yellow Jackets meets like Hannibal or something, and is sapphic. I just remember seeing Yellow Jackets and sapphic, and Yellow Jackets itself is a very sapphic show. Love that show. And I was like, I have to read it. I have to know what this book is. So I did not think I would be able to get this, and it suddenly showed up on Libby, and I was like, I gotta get it. And I immediately put in the hold request as soon as it was available, and then realized I did not have time to actually get to it. And then I was like, oh, I'll just read it on the 1st of June. It's literally due tomorrow. It is due June 2nd. So I have to read this today. So be ready for a rapid fire recap of this because I am not going to talk to you until I have finished it because I need to just like go, speed through. Unless something comes up and I desperately need to talk to you, I'm just gonna read all of Decomposition Book and then talk to you. That will probably not happen for the rest of the books. I will try and check in periodically through those, if possible. But this one for sure, I have to get through. Krista does have court tonight. Krista is my lovely wife, who is working a lot of night courts tonight, well, this week. So I'm going to read tonight. I did tell her I needed to read this book today because I should probably do house things like chores, like lots of things. But I will be reading this book and then I will do things on Tuesday. Or I'll read this book and find time to do it. We'll see. But I am gonna go. I'm very curious to get into this, and I made sure I would have time. So I actually like prepped a bunch of stuff so I'd be ready to go and be able to read for about a half hour before work. I'm just in my office because it's the easiest way for me to be here. I can have everything set up and I can just like kind of watch the clock. So that's my plan. Gonna read. I will talk to you when I've finished Decomposition Book, Gremilinos, and my first read of Pride. I'm so excited for this book, but I need to read. I desperately need to read. Please, Libby gods, let me finish this book in time. Hello, Gremilinos. I know I look flushed and I've actually had my cardigan off and on, but I'm not hot. I'm just flushed. And I don't know why exactly, but I am here. My workday's been over for a few minutes, like a few minutes. But I'm here because I finished Decomposition book. I read the entire thing. I read a lot before work. I had more time than I thought. I thought I had a half hour, but I actually had more than that because I just was not paying attention to the time, I guess. And I read during my lunch break. I basically just plowed through this book. It is so interesting. So going into this, I had the idea that the book was going to predominantly be, because it does mention Yellow Jackets, and there is something about like a body and a woman finding the body. I haven't actually read the synopsis since like I first got the book, but I do remember that being mentioned. So when the Yellow Jackets thing came up, my immediate thought was Shauna and Jackie, which kind of, so if you've seen Yellow Jackets, that will make sense to you. So Savannah is living in a cabin. It's her family's cabin, and it's in upstate New York. I feel like a number of books I've read are set in upstate New York, but she's been staying at this cabin by herself. She's like 22, and she's been there because something happened with her former best friend, and it does take a while for us to learn what happened, but we know that this has very much caused a great deal of trauma to Savannah. Now, Savannah is also dealing with the fallout of those events that really triggered her existing OCD. So Savannah consistently discusses the fact that she has OCD. She is seeing a therapist, and she does complain at a certain point because she says the OCD she has is not the one where she like would keep her cabin clean, because actually she points out like she's doing a very poor job of keeping the cabin clean in some regards, but she has the other OCD. She does discuss it. You do get an understanding of what her OCD is, like how it affects her. And so one day she literally, through a series of events, wakes up next to a body. She just finds it and she has no idea how she got there, and then she panics. She doesn't really want to call the police because she doesn't know what happened. We then learn she does go back. She realizes that there is a notebook called the Decomposition book. It does actually say that on the cover of it. It has been handwritten on the front. It said composition book, and someone wrote the D in front of it. And it's very damaged, and she decides that she's going to read it because it is Ava, the body's book. Now, she proceeds to make a number of like decisions regarding how she will read the book, how she is going to contend with the fact that there is a body near her home, and what that will mean. Now, it is like cold, so it's like wintry, but not wintry. If you're in New York, you might know that the weather is very weird, especially between like winter, spring. It takes a while for the weather to decide not to be winter, and then even when you hit spring, sometimes it like rotates all the way back to winter and then comes back. So there's a lot of odd temperature moments that are really affecting the state of Ava. Now we also, as Savannah becomes more invested in learning what happened to Ava, because Ava has taken very detailed, it's not exactly notes, she's kind of written it memoir style from a certain point where she was like looking back and then recording everything that had occurred, because she wants someone to know what happened to her and the two people from her work that she went on a hiking trip with. Now we learn that she went on this hiking trip with someone she actually very much had a crush on, named Megan, and this guy that neither one of them particularly likes, but he was the reason the trip was happening. So we're getting all of that and like why they're in the woods, how they have gotten lost, because they have very definitely gotten lost. And so we are following Ava, and also then Savannah's reactions to reading Ava. Now what's interesting is you will read a section, but Savannah hasn't always gotten to that section yet. So she'll reference a section you have already read in her portion, but you do know she's getting there. So you and Ava, you know more about Ava sometimes before Savannah. And then Savannah does become very fixated on figuring out who Ava is. And a lot of that is because she is contending with the loss of a friendship that I'm not going to get into because it is core to the story. And I think if I got too much into it, it would spoil stuff. But she is contending with that and this feeling of being unloved. Like no one cares for her. And so she becomes very invested in Ava, this body, this person. And on top of that, the fixation with Ava is drawn in a bit because Savannah thinks she may be gay, but she's only 22. And she isn't sure she can tell people she's gay because she hasn't done it. She's like, I haven't kissed someone. Like, I haven't kissed a girl. I don't know. And she's like, and I also don't know that straight women like straight men. Like, she doesn't know how she can tell people she's definitively a lesbian. And then she's very worried that she's wrong. Like, maybe she's just wrong. So she kind of latches on to Ava a bit because she does realize Ava is gay. We do get into Ava identifying as gay. And so she is kind of seeing Ava as someone she can maybe learn from. Ava is about 10 years older. And so it does also become this examination of someone who could maybe explain things to her or help her. But the story gets, at the halfway point, things take kind of a turn for Savannah, and you will very definitively know when that happens. But it was so interesting. Like, I was just so invested in knowing what happened to Ava, what was happening to Savannah, and I really wanted to know, like, these women. And then it was so interesting to see Ava technically affecting Savannah, even though Ava isn't alive. So it was just so interesting. Like, I was so invested. And I do highly recommend it. I think it was very good. If you love Yellow Jackets, you will definitely enjoy this. Like, you will eat this up. Especially if you're I don't know what their ship is. I have no idea. Shauna and Jackie. It's very Shauna and Jackie coded in a sense. Just because of the connection. And if you've watched Yellow Jackets, again, you'll understand. If you haven't watched Yellow Jackets, you might be a little confused. I'm not going to get into that with you. Because you need to watch Yellow Jackets. Please watch Yellow Jackets. It's Pride. I normally pick a show to not shut up about for all of Pride. Watch Yellow Jackets, please. Do me a favor and watch Yellow Jackets. Find it somehow. I do know it's on Paramount Plus, which is truly deeply frustrating, but they bought Showtime. Like, they took Showtime and they destroyed Showtime's app. So I know it is on Paramount Plus, all the seasons. Some of it is on Netflix. I believe the first two, I think it's just the first two. I know at least the first two seasons are on Netflix, and I would recommend, if you can, you watch it, please, for me, for everyone, for the world. But yeah, so Decomposition book was incredible, and I'm so glad that I read it. I do need to take a picture of the cover, so I can't return it yet. Go back. The next book that we're going to read is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, which I have been told is gay. It's sapphic, they're lesbians, and that's what we're going to read. I think a bug is trying to get into my office. I just heard a click sound. We get stink bugs in the summery spring. But yes, so the next book will be Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. Everyone always says that they really like this. I admittedly read an Eric LaRocca and didn't enjoy it. But I'm hoping maybe this one will do it for me. But yes, I am gonna read that while I hang out with the dogs. I do have to do dishes. I'm pulling this cover back up because I really need to take a picture, and then I need to return it desperately because I really need to get that back to the library. But I am very glad that I read it. I am so excited I got that done, and it was very, very good, so I do recommend. But please note, it does deal with mental health a lot because Savannah is really, really going through it. But yeah. So I will update you when I have something on Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. I do remember the last LaRocca book did not, I could be saying his name wrong, I'm very sorry. I don't remember that taking me very long. And really the only thing I'm doing is I'm going to read, and then when Krista gets home I'm making dinner. So I should be able to knock it out, hopefully. My goal is to get through as many of these books that I have checked out as possible. And like, some of these are due sooner than others. So I gotta work on that. But I will talk to you later, Gremilinos, when I have a book update. Hi, yes, I'm back. I'm in my office. I'm done with work, but I remembered something. I like got downstairs, was about to do dishes and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I meant to do a thing today. And I did mean to do a thing. So I think a couple Prides ago, I randomly, now please note, this was before Target was knowingly to me truly terrible. Just a little while ago, and it's when Pride was like a thing Target kind of really did. They like worked with other creators. I'm actually wearing a Tomboy X Target bra right now. It's like a sports bra. I don't know if it was specifically marketed as a sports bra, but I wear it as a sports bra, and like I had worn a ton of their stuff before, so like this is from around that window of time when they were like very much like bringing in creators or promoting creators who made like queer stuff pretty consistently during June at least. And randomly, while we were at Target one time back in the day, I saw this box. I'm gonna pick it up. The cards are not currently in it. And this Queer Tarot, an inclusive deck and guidebook by Ashley Malesso and Chess Needham, was just like sitting on a shelf by itself, like all alone. And I was like, oh my gosh, I remember those. So this specific tarot deck is mentioned in a Bright Falls novel, one of the books in the trilogy by Ashley Herring Blake. It is in the Astrid one. And I can't remember the name of that book right now, but it's in Astrid's book. They're not Astrid's tarot cards, but they are the tarot cards of her love interest. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. Like, they have them, I should get them. And admittedly, I think they were on sale. So I was like, I'm just gonna grab them. I'm gonna do it. So I've grabbed them, and I haven't consistently like used them. I'm very bad at consistently trying to do like tarot cards or really kind of anything that is not my asthma medication. So I was just like, okay, I am gonna try this year. And part of this is weirdly because there is currently a tarot themed readathon happening in June. I am not participating solely because I want a lot of flexibility in June to read kind of any holds that I grab at the library, really anything at all. So like having any sort of structure to my TBR beyond it has to be gay is gonna mess me up. So I'm just not. I was like, I can't do it. It sounds very cool. A lot of people are participating. It seems very, very interesting. But I was like, oh my gosh, the tarot cards. And it like really prompted me to think about them. And well, admittedly, I will probably not do this every video, or even I'm going to try and do it at least every work day. I'm going to try because they're in my office. I though do need to put them in something because the box inside this box, so there is actually a deck, like a box for this deck. It broke. I went to put the cards back in a couple days ago and it just completely fell apart. Like the glue came apart. So I have a bag I'm going to put them in, and I'm going to draw out of the bag, which is actually how the character in the book I'm thinking of draws a card a day. So that's what I'm going to do. It also has a guidebook, which is good because my tarot skills are little to none. So this is the book. It's the Queer Tarot Guidebook. Now, I have not flipped any of these upside down. They are all right side up. I am just going to draw from the right side up position, and just like see what card comes to me. And I'm just going to like see how I feel about it. I'm not going to tell you exactly. I will tell you like the meaning, like the general meaning, from the guidebook really fast, but that's really it. That's what I'm going to do. I know some people like journal when they do tarot, like they'll pick a card at the start of the day and sometimes see how it, like how they think that fit into their day, which I think is the best way for me to do it. I was very into the idea of tarot ages ago, like even as like a high schooler. I thought that it was very cool, but like I was never gonna buy a tarot deck because I was raised Catholic and that was not a thing my mom was gonna let me have. I made a tarot deck using a deck of cards. I actually had this book that like told you how to do it, and you could like write like how to make a deck. But we're gonna draw a card. Let's see, I'm debating. I think I'm gonna draw off the top. Is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna flip everything around and do a little loosey-goosey. And actually I want this card. I don't know why. This is the card I want. And I have pulled the Two of Swords. Ta-da. The art is very cool on this deck. Give me one sec. Let's see. I forget how this deck is broken down. This may take me a sec. Oh, it has been so long since I looked through this. Oh, there we go. Stalemate, blocked path, impasse. Interesting. So I'm going to tell you. Huh, interesting. It says this card calls upon you to meditate and think with nuance rather than jump into action. Try taking your heart out of the situation for this one and use logic to determine your path to move forward. This card may also come up when you're avoiding making a decision because you're fearful of the repercussions. Remember that not making a choice is a decision too. I didn't read you the whole thing, but that is interesting. So yeah, I'm going to try and do that every day. I though do need to go downstairs, but I'll try and do it at the start, like when I make coffee or right after I make coffee or something. So yeah, keep that in mind. I'm gonna get the deck shuffled back up and go find that bag that I was gonna put it in so that I don't lose the deck. All right, talk to you later, Gremilinos. Hello, Gremilinos. I have so much hairspray in my hair. Krista is falling asleep. She's over here. We're watching a very dumb design show called That Thrifting Show. I will say the first 6 episodes were good. But like, it's just gotten off the rails. No one has followed the theme. Now they're doing dorm rooms.
There's nowhere for someone to study or homework or put clothes.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
You're not designing a bedroom, a dorm room. You have to live.
Yeah.
Study.
I didn't live in a dorm, but my sister did. And Krista very intimately lived in many dorms. And they're doing a very poor job. Also, you don't get to pick a theme for your dorm room, from what I understand. You just exist in the dorm room you've been provided. Because you can't hang things or light candles or do a lot, really. Right?
I mean, you can hang pictures and whatnot and posters.
But you wouldn't have been able to pick Southern Charm or Boho Flair.
No.
Also, they're both doing singles, which is so uncommon in, like, college living. Again, my hair is crazy. There's literally a piece of my hair just, like, sticking out. I can see it. I'm aware.
They're doing canopy beds and chandeliers.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Tell me what dorm room at a college has had a chandelier and a canopy bed.
None.
With no desk, no chair,
or no wardrobe. Yeah, it's just dumb. But I'm here because I finished Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, which the cover isn't even pulled up. Hold on, there you go. I don't think they are for me. I just don't think Eric LaRocca is for me. LaRocca? I think it's LaRocca. So this is supposed to be the sapphic one. And Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke is supposed to be the sapphic storyline in this one. And admittedly, we are following two women who meet because of an apple peeling ad. Like, a woman is selling an apple peeler. And the two of them wind up in, like, a dom-sub relationship, which involves a tapeworm. And you know what? If you're going to read a book about a tapeworm that has queer women, just read Brainworms by Alison Rumfitt. Like, just do that. Just do that instead, please. Because this didn't do anything new for me. And Brainworms is much creepier. And just more of what you would want, I would think. Then there are, like, two additional plots. There's a plot with, like, a married couple and, like, the husband having a son outside of the relationship. And there are, like, consistent, like, Jesus things. Like, even in Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, there's a discussion of a child who crucified his younger brother. And then there's, like, a whole thing about, like, in the second one, like, it's just weird. And there's, like, a possible baby. I don't know. I just did not really care. It just, like, switches from Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke to this other plot. And I didn't particularly care about this married couple that was, like, having issues regarding a son from a previous relationship of the husband's. And then there's a third plot where a man is, like, involved in a number of bets with his neighbor. And, like, that one was gay. Like, they mentioned husbands. But, like, none of it was earth-shattering. And I'm so sorry, because I know a number of people love his / their work. But, like, this is the second book I've read. And, like, none of the stories really hook me. Like, I'm just not that invested in them. And, like, I thought Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke would be the one that would get me. But I just didn't care while I was reading it. Because I was like, but I've read something similar to this in Brainworms. And Brainworms is creepier. And Brainworms is more horrifying. And Brainworms also includes similar things. And I was just like, if I wanted this, I would have just reread Brainworms. So I think I'm just gonna have to call it, like I did with Nat Cassidy, where, like, they're just not resonating with me, and he is just not it. Like, for whatever reason, I don't connect with them, and I just have to acknowledge that as a human, that it's not happening. I did already take a photo of this book, which is great, so I can actually return it. I'm gonna return it right now because they keep pestering me about it. Ta-da! Done. Which means I do need to read Everyone in this room will someday be dead, by Emily Austen. And I love Emily Austen stuff, so this may be depressing as heck, but I am sure I will love it because I loved Interesting Facts About Space, and oh gosh, what is the other one called? I don't remember the other one. I have enjoyed everything I've read by Emily Austen. And Emily Austen has a very clear authorial voice. So I am so sure I'm going to like this. I believe Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead focuses on a queer woman who gets a job at a Catholic church, even though she is an atheist, I think.
It's you if you were an AI.
Oh gosh, it's an AI Rottweiler drinking a glass of wine. Yep, I agree.
In a bathrobe.
It was very cute. But I will be starting that because it is due next in my, Catherine has too many holds out on Libby that are gay and she did not get to them. But yeah, I just think Eric Lorick and I are not destined to be, much like Nat Cassidy and I are not destined to be as books I like. It's not their fault. Like, some authors just don't work with you. And again, if you liked Everything Has Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, you should read Brainworms. Because Brainworms by Alison Rumfitt does very definitely fit into that plot very well. It actually reiterates that plot in so many ways. And Brainworms is so creepy and gets so gross. And I think it would really hit for a number of people. But because I've read that first and then reading that, I was like, I don't care. Which sounds horrible, but like, it's true. I was just like, I have already read this and I don't feel connected to it, nor do I particularly care. So yeah, we're going to move on to Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead, which is such a depressing title. What is the other book? I really cannot remember the other book I read because it wasn't Interesting Facts About Space. I read a short story by Emily Austen that I really liked that involved coloring contests and something that seemed like Great Wolf Lodge but was not. But I read something else. I cannot remember. Oh my gosh. I don't remember. I really don't. Shoot. Anyway, I'm gonna get ready for bed though. I have had a great deal of gin. So that's happened. Drank it out of this very fun. Oh, you haven't seen this. I took the photo. I drank some gin and tonic out of a fun Gremlins cup. But I'm gonna get ready for bed. Krista's gonna get ready for bed.
You're gonna evict those.
I am gonna have to evict the boy cats from the bedroom. And I will talk to you in the morning. I don't know that I'll read any more tonight, but I just thought I would fill you in. I really thought Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke would really get it. And what bugs me a little is like the consistent line is, what have you done today to make you deserve your eyes? I thought eyeballs were going to be key and not parasites. So I feel like I was bait and switched a bit. It's fine. It's fine. Just read Brainworms or re-listen to Brainworms. That's the key suggestion I have for you. But I'm going to go. I got to put my camera back in the office and evict these kitties. So I will talk to you sometime tomorrow, dear Gremilinos. Good morning, Gremilinos. I have not read anything. I am also teeny bit hungover from the gin and tonics yesterday. Well, gin and seltzer waters. I'm fine. I took an Excedrin, I ate a donut, I'm having coffee. Also, today is Joffrey's coffee day. I'm very excited. So, if you didn't know, this is so random. I did this like kind of contest thing. You basically like vote on like coffee flavor stuff for Joffrey's Coffee, which is this like coffee company that works pretty closely with Disney. That's how I was aware of them. And they, from that thing, pick 12 winners to get a free bag of coffee for 12 months, which is very cool. It's basically called free coffee for a year, except the free bags don't last me the entire month. But every month I get a bag of coffee and my bag is supposed to come today. So at some point I'll be making Joffrey's coffee and telling you all about it, because I film like a little reel to show off the coffee, just because app picked and I think it's fun to like show off what they send you. But I did say I was going to try and do this card thing every day. So, well, every work day. So cards are here. Do a little Doodle-a-doot. Diddle-a-dee. Trying to do it in frame. Let's see. Just kind of go in with however I feel. Also, this shirt is very random. I picked it up at this like charity thing we went to for a local shelter, and this wasn't for that event. They just randomly had this shirt and it says "We love strays and gays," and it was only $10 because they were like basically using any clothing to get like donations. But I thought it was too cute. Also, you can probably see the rainbow stripy bra I'm wearing underneath it, but I was like, you know what, I don't really care. Anyway, let's see. I know I'm moving my hands a lot for this. Let's see. Actually, grab this one. This one. Okay. It is the Four of Swords. Yes, that is swords. Four of Swords. It's kind of focusing on the card. It's really focusing on my shirt. There you go. You can kind of see it. So let's look up Four of Swords. It's the second set of swords I've picked up. So interesting. All right, let's see. Pentacles, swords. Okay. Going backwards. Four of Swords. Rest, recuperation, stillness, meditation. The Four of Swords indicates that it is now time to retreat and rest from whatever is bringing you down, whether that's stress, illness, trauma, heartache, or anything else. When this card appears in your reading, spend lots of time building up your mental and emotional strength. Interesting. Oh, fun. Oh, I totally forgot. The models are listed on this. So these are actually based on real people, and I didn't do it for, I know it's the Two of Swords. So like the person on your card is listed. So the Two of Swords, there were other things like the reverse, and things to consider in here. But I'm not doing the reverse, I'm just reading the card as is. But yeah, the Two of Swords was Ileana Rubin, she, her. And the model on this card is East, she, her, they. So that's fun. I had forgotten. They tell you that in this book because I did read through this whole book when I got the deck just to get an idea of it. And all of the cards are actually inspired by queer people. They like did a call for models and drew them. So I think it's really cool. But that's fun. I am trying to make it a habit just for the fun of it. Also, unrelated to cards, the summer reading program started at my library yesterday and I completely forgot. Because there's like sheets you fill out, like little papers. Actually, cards kind of reminded me because they're like a card you write on. And I want to go to the library this week to see if they put out any Pride books. I don't know if they will or not. This area is very red. And they normally do, like at least like a small little thing, but I don't know. It's been a not great time. So I just don't know, but I wanted to see if they were. I just can't go today. It's not a feasible thing to do today. But Krista is running by the library for me because I have a book, the Caretaker book that I read in my last vlog. It is due, like it has to go back before Friday. So she was like, no, I'll take your books back. Don't worry. Like I can run out before I come home for lunch and just drop them off. But I want to go just like look around. So we shall see, but I need to go. I am keeping an eye out for my Joffrey's coffee. So the next time you see me will probably be for coffee. Though I'm already drinking coffee, I'll be making a cup of the Joffrey's coffee and telling you about it. But for now, I'm gonna go. My plan is to read Someday Everyone in This Room Will Be Dead. I believe that's the title. During lunch. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll have time to read beyond that, but I don't know. But I'm gonna go. So I will talk to you in my kitchen when I'm making coffee later, Gremilinos. Hi Gremilinos, it is my lunch break. It's just finishing up, but my Joffrey's came kind of late. Krista brought it in when she came home for lunch. So the coffee itself is toasted s'mores, which has like a very cute summery little label on it. And I was really worried actually that I wouldn't like this because I hate marshmallows. Sorry, the lighting is weird. I'm next to a window. So now I'm just gonna be in shadow. There we go, maybe. But I have already brewed it and I've already tried it. Again, I'm gonna be in shadow. Sorry, I can't. There's not a lot of good spots to stand. Really close to my face. It tastes more like graham cracker to me than anything else. Though again, I don't like marshmallow, so maybe I wouldn't like really acknowledge. I don't like the texture of them. It does taste graham crackery, and it kind of reminds me of their coffee from last month. That was like Biscoffee, and it was like Biscoff cookie. So like it tastes cookie-esque to me. But I have it and it's fun and I like a free bag of coffee. So I'm not complaining. And it does have like a good flavor. I just think some of their like cookie kind of flavors, or like a graham cracker kind of has a similar flavor to those like Biscoff cookies. I just feel like they have similar notes. But yeah, so that's the coffee. I have to get back to work. My lunch break is literally like ending. But I just wanted to show you the coffee because I said I was going to. And I will have a book update for you later. I did read some during lunch and I did read a little bit before like really digging into work. So I had a little wiggle room. So I do think I might be able to finish it before too long today. So yeah, that's the plan. Talk to you about someday everyone in this room will be dead. I feel like I keep saying the title wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. The Emily Austen book. Talk to you later today. Hello, Gremilinos. It is a little bit after work. I am stalling a little because I need to go help with yard work. So I'm going to talk to you about, I'm picking it up, Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. So I always find Emily Austen books a little difficult to kind of recap because the plot themselves is really just following someone typically who is having some sort of psychological emotional upset. So the story is a number of scenes in their life and like what's going on with them, but like you can't really recap all of that without spoiling something or revealing something or something along those lines at least. So ultimately we are following Gilda, who has been fired from her bookstore job for just not going to work. And admittedly, she just kept sleeping. She's been very tired. She doesn't really feel like doing anything. And she's also been a frequent flyer at the ER. She keeps having what she calls like attacks. She'll feel like she can't breathe. Her chest is too tight and she just goes to the ER because she's like, I think I'm dying. Like, I don't know what's wrong. At the start of this, she actually goes to the ER because she's been in a car accident and she's broken her arm. And so she shows up and they're like, hey, Gilda, how you doing? And she's like, oh, I was in a small car accident. And like her face is bleeding and she's broken her arm. So for a majority of the story, her arm is broken, which does periodically come up. But she has lost her job. She's very stressed out. And through an odd series of events, she winds up getting a job at a church, a Catholic church, even though she is a lesbian atheist. So she kind of is just like not disclosed any of that. They basically were like, are you Catholic? And she's like, uh-huh. Like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like, she kind of casually rolled into a job interview. She wasn't there for it. They just assumed she was. And they're very excited she knows how to use the internet. So she starts working on this job. Now, while all this is going on, she has this person she's dating named Eleanor. And they're kind of trying to figure things out. Ooh, I knew I was gonna cough. One sec. I have a tiny bit of coffee left. It is truly very cold, but I'm going to take a sip. But, so she's dating this person, this woman named Eleanor. They're going on a number of dates, but also like, she is having a number of like family issues, Gilda, that are like coming up. She's worried about her brother. She keeps thinking about her dead rabbit from when she was a child. And on top of all of that, she learns that the woman whose job she's in, Grace, this elderly woman who was the secretary for the church, may have been murdered. And so there's like a murder investigation sort of going on, and like that's stressing her out. And so it just becomes Gilda really dealing with like a lot of things on top of the fact that she's already feeling very like unmoored. She keeps feeling these like overwhelming just desires to do nothing, where she's like, nothing matters. Like, we're all going to die. So I can't, like, I don't care. Like, she's just kind of like, we're all like nothing. And so a lot of the story is following that. As it progresses, we do get a bit more of Gilda really succumbing to a number of issues. There is a mention of her being prescribed something at a certain point, and that may also be causing a problem. So there's like a lot happening for her, especially at the end when like everything kind of comes to a head between having a job you're not actually qualified for in that you're not Catholic, and they expect you to be Catholic, and this investigation into Grace and stuff with her family and things with Eleanor, and just so many things are happening. I just really appreciate Emily Austen's writing. When you go into something written by Emily Austen, you know what to expect. You kind of know what the story is going to be. And I like that familiarity. I enjoy her characters. I also think it's interesting that space comes up in this, and it does feel like it connects to interesting facts about space. Each of the characters they're always a little bit different from each other, and they're always experiencing things in a slightly different way. And so it's just, an Emily Austen book just feels very comforting, even though the story is very typically about someone who is experiencing a lot of things that are really just causing them trauma at the end of the day. But I did still very much enjoy this, which I knew I would. I did already get my thumbnail photo, and this is due very soon, so I'm going to manage it. Also, if you're reading this book, it's very odd. This particular version that I was reading on Libby has like 40 extra pages. Like, I literally was like, oh, I'm not near the end, and then the book was over, and I was like, what? And I like looked, and there's so many things at the end of this book that aren't, like, there was an excerpt for a book I've already read, Interesting Facts About Space, and just like random other odds and ends that I didn't read. So that threw me off a little, but I did finish it. So go me. Krista, oh, I actually didn't check. She went to the library for me, but I didn't look in the back to see. I need to keep track of books I've read for hours. Our summer reading program is tricky, but I need to fill those out before I forget. But moving on to the book that I will probably not be reading until tomorrow. I may go to bed early tonight after we do all of our stuff because I'm very tired. I will be reading A Game in Yellow by Hailey Piper next. I requested this on a whim. I have never read a Hailey Piper book. I just happened to be like, oh, right. So Jordaline has mentioned her a number of times. A few people have read this, from what I remember, on like booktube videos I've seen. I just remember Jordaline mentioning Hailey Piper, and that is like the only book that was in the Libby system. So I just put in a request and I happen to have it. So that's gonna be the next book. We will see what I think. I have no idea. I really don't know what I'm getting into, except it's something about, I'm not even gonna get into it because I know there's like a couple and some odd things. So yes, it is very interesting. I just know, I again know very little, but I do need to go. I need to do yard work. So I will talk to you probably not until tomorrow. We're just having dinner at home and probably watching Supernatural, I think. The designing show we were watching, we literally didn't finish that last episode where they were doing a dorm room and it didn't look like a dorm room at all. But we'll probably just watch Supernatural tonight and then maybe go to bed early. So yeah, but I will update you when I have things to talk to you about, aka some sort of thoughts on A Game in Yellow. Maybe I'll update you before I finish that one. We'll see. Good morning, Gremilinos. I don't have a book update for you, but I am wearing my Fun Freddy 2 shirt. This is an homage to the fact that Freddy 2 is very gay. And also, I'm using my Tiffany mug. If you have not watched the Chucky series, at a certain point, Tiffany does start dating, I should say that in quotes, dating a woman, and I believe does actually say she's bi or like identifies as bi or queer. She does come out in some capacity. Also, she is mother to Glenn and Glenda and ultimately Gigi, which will make sense if you watch the show. You should also watch Chucky. It is a good show. It ended on kind of a cliffhanger I wasn't a big fan of, which is not their fault, but also the final season gets a little weird. There's like good acting in it, but the plot for that one got a little weird, and yeah, that's all I will say. I did enjoy the show though, and it sucks that it got canceled because I thought it was doing pretty well. But coffee, taking a sip. So hot. It's the s'mores coffee. Tastes any different today? No, still mostly graham cracker. I feel like I had a faint taste of chocolate, but I could have been imagining that, admittedly. Anyway, I did say I was gonna do a card pull during weekdays at least, when I remembered. And I'm trying to do it. Last night we didn't really do a whole heck of a lot. We did yard work, like I said we were. So my arms are kind of stiff. And then I made dinner, and then we really just watched Supernatural. We got to a Charlie episode where there's a LARP, and it was really fun. So that was great. Charlie is a lesbian. Yes, she just says she's a lesbian. In Supernatural. She's played by Felicia Day, and she is one of my favorite characters. I actually have her Funko Pop from way back in the day. And Krista was really enjoying the episode. It was really fun. But do a little shuffle. I'm so curious to see if I pull more swords, because I swear to you, I'm moving this deck around pretty consistently. I'm not flipping it like around or upside down or like shuffling it on the floor, because I don't want to do reverses. We're just doing standard basic upright. Okay, let's and this one. No idea. I'm just like holding the deck. Oh, it's wands. Okay. It's the 3 of, oh, is this wands or staffs? See, I'm not always the brightest. I think this is wands though. Pretty sure it's wands. Pentacles, swords, cups. Yeah, it's totally wands. Yeah, I was right. I don't know why I was second guessing myself. 3 of wands. Progress, expansion, envisioning the future. Yippee! The 3 of wands is a card of good fortune, whether in relationships, your career, or your dreams. You're in a sweet spot for moving forward with future plans and right where you need to be. When this card appears in your reading, you should take a moment to reflect on how you got to where you are now in order to look forward and decide how to progress. I'm not going to read you all of this. The model is Oren Caldwell. He, him. So very cool. But yeah, well, that's fun. That's a nice way to start the day. Also not swords. So I'm going to shuffle that back in. No, that's a fun way to start the day. It is going to be a really busy work day, so I might be able to read during lunch, but that's about it. We just have a lot going on, and I have some stuff to get done. It's not, I have a little time before work, so maybe I can read a teeny tiny bit, but we shall see. But I gotta go. I'm gonna drink more of my coffee. I'm gonna get finished. Well, I'm really ready for the day, but I'm gonna actually get started on some stuffs. I will talk to you later, Gremilinos. Hello, Gremilinos. Okay, quick update. My work day is over. I need to go down and make dinner. Krista has a bit of a headache. She's had a sinus thing for a little while, and it's really acting up today. I just want to talk to you. I did read a bit of A Game in Yellow during lunch, a teeny tiny bit before work. So I thought I'd fill you in some. This is definitely erotic horror, so please go into it knowing this book is very focused on the sex life of Carmen and Blanca. Carmen is our main protagonist, so we're primarily following her. She has what in some sense does feel like a bit of an insatiable appetite. She and Blanca are together. They sort of have this, I'm gonna say dominant, submissive kind of relationship. It's not an all the time thing, but that is how they connect with each other sexually. So the two of them do a lot of play, various things, and Carmen has felt herself kind of zoning out, even when they're doing very intense, I'm going to say very intense breath play, but that is not entirely correct. There's a Ziploc bag involved. So Blanca decides to kind of do something drastic, and drastic in that she has done some research and she takes Carmen to meet Smoke. Smoke is this woman who has, we just know she's kind of a traveler, knows things. She happens to have this book called The Play in Yellow. Yeah, it's The Play, not a game. I have to pull it back up. No, wrong thing. Oh gosh. Can you tell it's the end of my day? Yeah, it's, yeah. The King in Yellow. The King in Yellow. It is a play. So The King in Yellow is a play. She has the second half of it, so she has Act 2, and reading it is supposed to do something to you. The first time Carmen reads it, she has a very immediate reaction that she and Blanca use to their advantage. After about a week, Carmen kind of feels it wearing off. They go back to visit Smoke, but in this situation, Blanca starts to bring Smoke more in. So Smoke is becoming like a part of their relationship. Sorry, my nose really itched. So that's kind of where I am right now. Carmen is also like dealing with some work stuff. She's supposed to go on like a work trip to the Catskills. She doesn't really connect with anyone at work. She doesn't particularly like going to work. And Carmen is my age, so Carmen is 35. And she kind of points out like, am I supposed to feel this like done with everything? Like she just kind of like doesn't feel very strong emotions about anything. She's like, I just feel like, is it work? Is it life? Like I should not feel like this at 35. And it is that she's just kind of like losing focus. She just exists, and she's kind of like, I don't really like, And so like that I could very, very much relate to. Just the like, you, because I am 35, you like hit a certain age and like kind of like, I like what I do, but like also it's work. Like you need to work to live. So like work I can get, and like she has a data entry job that sounds very tedious, and she is very much like, it's just work. Like I go to work and then I come home, and then like I'm not even really relaxing at home. And I can definitely get that. Like I can very much understand where Carmen is coming from, because it is like weird sometimes. Like sometimes I'm just so worn out from work and I'm like, I don't really have the energy to do anything else. I YouTube, I spend time with my wife, I hang out with pups and cats, and I try and have some excitement and connect, but like you're still sometimes just exhausted by, you know, all the things. So that is very interesting. Now her examination of everything else, Carmen is a very interesting individual, and very definitely has Blanca even says like your threshold for some things feels like you want to be on like the brink of death, and I'm like, ooh, that is unpleasant. Like that just sounds horrifying. But yeah, so it is again very erotic horror. So don't go into this thinking it's a tame. Like this has even more stuff going on than Spread Me by Sarah Gailey. So just keep that in mind. Also, I still have not been able to get Make Me Better by Sarah Gailey, and this is in Decomposition Book, and it is a joke. Please note this is a joke, but it is Pride, and there are 2 libraries that have it on their shelves and available, and I cannot request it because it's not my library, and they refuse to send it to my library, and it's homophobic. I'm just throwing that out there. That was a running trend in Decomposition Book. They were using homophobic as a, like, we're trapped in these woods, and thus the woods are homophobic because we're gay, like that kind of joke. But also like, let me get the book, dang it, it's been sitting available for a week, no one is borrowing it, let me borrow it, let me use your resources library that's in my system. Also, technically one of those libraries is the library card that I have. Like my library card is for that library, and I'm like, you should acknowledge that the number requesting it is from your library and just give it to me, even though I'm in a different city now. But anyway, I'm reading that. I do need to go make dinner, so I'm gonna go work on that, and I will talk to you probably not till tomorrow morning, Gremilinos. I think we're just gonna watch Supernatural and maybe go to bed early. Basically what we did yesterday. I made steaks yesterday though, and I am actually heating up leftover chili tonight. So yeah, I'm gonna get on that, and I will talk to you in the morning. Good morning, Gremilinos. My window's open, so you might hear traffic noise. I have my Rose Apothecary mug and my matching shirt. I saw it in a pile today and I was like, oh yes, I'm gonna wear that today. This coffee is so hot. I don't have a book update. Also, I know my hair is very weird. There's so much old hairspray in it. I'm really just trying to keep it off of my, like, the sides. So I'm cool. But I do need to shower today, like after work and stuff, to get all this hairspray out of my hair. But we're going to do a deck pull because I'm trying to do that at least every work day for the month of June. Maybe I'll make it a practice, I don't know, but we're at least gonna try and do it every work day for the month of June. It is such a big divot. Oh well, I could put like a headband in, I guess. We're just gonna roll with it. I do desperately need to shower. It's so crunchy. Okay. Moving the cards around. Moving the cards around. This. Ooh, let's drop the stuff. And 1, 2. And this one. Oh, the Queen of Swords. So I'm back to swords. I had wands yesterday, but Queen of Swords. Very cool. And let's get in here. Okay. Oh, I opened almost right to it. Queen of Swords is someone who knows the boundary between the emotional and logical realms very well. They're usually intelligent, very in touch with their intuition, and use honesty as their best policy. Because they generally lack emotion, they're able to see things with the mind alone without the heart getting in the way. The Queen of Swords can take the heart out of a specific situation, or on the flip side, can show when a little heart is needed. Showing emotions is by no means a sign of weakness, and this card calls for time to check in and find out where both your head and your heart are. Detaching from your heart for a moment may bring clarity that you couldn't find before, and vice versa. Okay, I did read you that whole one. Oh shoot, I've been telling you the... Hold on. Queen. I meant to say intuition, logic, honesty. And Amber Birkins, she, her, was the model for this card. Ta-da! All right, so that is the card pull. My goal today, because I do have time, it is still very early, is to finish the Game in Yellow today. I have time before work, I have time during lunch, so I think I can knock it out because the Game in Yellow is not very long. And then once I finish that, I have one more book. I have a book in at the library, but I'm gonna wait till the next vlog to do that one. But I'm very close to the last book. So yeah, goal, finish Game in Yellow today, then move on to the final book. So I will talk to you after my lunch break, after work, I'm not quite sure, but I will talk to you at some point when I have a reading update on the Game in Yellow. Hello, Gremilinos. It is the end of my lunch break. I have a couple of minutes. I was able to finish a Game in Yellow. My day is not going particularly well. It's one of those days. It is what it is, but I was able to finish this. I will say this very definitely, beyond the fact that it is erotic horror due to the subject matter and the fact that the play is essentially altering Carmen's desires. Yes, so technically that, but also this feels very definitely cosmic horror. I get a very eldritchy vibe from everything that's going on. As the story progresses, we do get more of, oh, it made me look yellow. That's horrifying. It did begin focusing more on Carmen herself. I'm just gonna take a sip of my drink. This is such a weird drink. This is lime seltzer water from a can, like some random brand. And the last of the olive juice from this, like, so technically it's like non-alcoholic dirty martini mix. It's just olive juice with, I think, like vermouth flavoring added. But I had it left over from when I did that faux dirty martini thing with the gin, and I saw them both in the fridge and I was like, you know what? I would like a mocktail to get me through the day. So yes, this is seltzer water and basically olive juice, but it's fun. I'm enjoying it. It's giving me a little bit of pep. Also, during my lunch, I did vent to Krista a little bit about the things that were bothering me about my day, even though her lunch is very short and I felt bad for taking up her time venting about my day when also she has a lot going on and she's working a double, but I really needed to so I could like move past it and continue. I was just like, I need to front load this and then we can eat. And I would read while we ate and watch some YouTube. Anyway, more of my weird beverage. She was like, that sounds disgusting. Krista hates olives, and I told her I was making it before she left and she was like, ew. And I was like, hey, I want to finish the olive juice stuff because I liked the flavor of it, and also I have a lime seltzer water and I think those would pair like wonderfully. Give me an ode to like gin and tonic with no gin. So it's a fun weird drink. I feel like maybe, does it have electrolytes? I don't know. Oh, don't listen to me. I'm just drinking a weird seltzer water olive juice combo to get me through. But as the story evolves, Carmen's personality does seem to be shifting and she's having a harder and harder time concentrating on things. And there is an examination of Carmen's personality. We also start getting some backstory for some characters. Smoke is still kind of left up in the air. We get a backstory for her, but not as much detail. I also drank that too fast and I feel like I'm gonna burp. Ooh, and we're good. So it does get very interesting, but Carmen does begin to become more and more untethered as she is more involved with the book, and also the play, like the pages of the play become more insidious. And so that was very interesting. It did feel very cosmic. So initially I was like, okay, like reading something that does drive you slightly mad does in theory fit like an eldritch horror, or I'm gonna say eldritch. It technically is also cosmic, but it's just the idea that something can bring madness upon you. Also like a little bit Edgar Allan Poe-y, but she like becomes more invested. We also see its effects on other people, and that gets very creepy. So it was interesting. I would be curious to read more from Hailey Piper that was not this particular book. I do think some people just won't like this because there is so much sex, but also the plot gets very odd because they are inserting you into the play sort of, and I won't say how that works. And then also you're not really being told everything. Like, you are Carmen. Carmen is isolating you. The king in yellow is technically isolating you so that you can't take in everything that's going around Carmen. So it is just very interesting. I enjoyed watching it. I do love a descent into madness story, so I enjoyed it. I also like the little bit of inserts. There's some psychological analysis that comes in, and that was very curious, and did lend to the story. I thought that was interesting, and it really examined why Carmen is in the relationship she is in. So yeah, I did enjoy it. I would read more from Hailey Piper. I know she has a ton more stuff, so there's a lot to read, so I am glad that I picked it up. I just can see how this would be a book that not a lot of people would like immediately enjoy, but I found it very interesting. It also, I did have to read it slower because you have to pay attention because of the like play shifts and like things going on around Carmen, but overall did enjoy. I now have another book that oddly and humorously was mentioned in the Libby app podcast. So Libby has like Libby, the thing you can borrow books from your library through, they have a YouTube channel and a podcast, and they had a bunch of Pride, they had 2 separate kind of big Pride episodes, and the one, I listened to both of them this morning, like I had them on, and one of them was doing book recommendations, and funnily enough, Patricia Wants to Cuddle got recommended. This is basically a reality TV show centered book in which Patricia, who lives on the island and is a cryptid, becomes involved, and it's very queer. So I am remarkably curious about how this is gonna go. I think it's gonna be so fun, and it's pretty short, so this will be the final book, so hoping to breeze through this. My plan for the evening, Krista again does have to work tonight. I am going to do dishes and take out the dogs, and then I'm going to read and drink wine. I have decided I'm going to have wine. Do I know what wine? No, because there's a bottle of wine that I'm only going to drink with Krista. There is another bottle of wine that I was kind of hoping to save for summerween, but I do have some wine in a box that I was kind of saving for the fall, but I think I have enough of that I could just like take one out and drink some of that. So I think that's my plan. We're going to see how I feel about that after work. Maybe I'll just have a beer because I know we have a bunch of beers. We bought them, there was like a closeout sale at this, because we don't drink a lot of beer. There was a closeout sale, like the place was going out of business, and it was all deeply discounted, so we grabbed some. So yeah, I have a random assortment of mostly stouts, but we'll see what I'm feeling. I kind of really wanted wine, so I think that's gonna be the plan. But I'm gonna keep drinking my weird seltzer olive juice. Olive seltzer? Should I just call it olive seltzer? I would drink this again, which would horrify Krista. My lovely wife hates olives so much, and I literally like had her smell the martini thing I made, and she was like, oh god, no. So I would not even drink that around her. No. But I must go. So I will talk to you probably not until tomorrow. I think I'm just gonna chill. I also really need to shower. The part in my hair is just like, you pulled your hair back, but I'm doing what I please. So yes, I will talk to you probably tomorrow morning, hopefully with an update on Patricia Wants to Cuddle. Hello Gremilinos, it's very hot today, and if you look at my hair you will know I did not take a shower yesterday. I was gonna wash my hair, didn't do it. I am going to tonight, but I just didn't do it. Also, you would think that this top is a bad choice for me being already hot, and you kind of are correct. I'm mostly wearing a shirt that if I sweat in, no one will really notice, because after work, Krista and I are going out to this like thing. I don't really know what to call it. It's technically like an event for the local like Humane Society sort of deal. And I'm saying that because they don't call themselves a Humane Society. And they're hosting something, but it's a paid event, but you can go and you don't have to pay if you don't do the craft. I don't know. We're doing that after because it's at like a local-ish winery. I have coffee. Bruni's gonna be barking because I am very sure we're on Paul Anka episodes of Gilmore Girls and that's what they're watching downstairs. I have my coffee cup. You've already seen this one. I'm so tired. I did in fact have wine last night and read some of Patricia Wants to Cuddle. I am tired though because Krista's on overnights this week and she got called out at midnight and then the dogs did not want to go back to sleep. So we were just up until she got home, which I mean, she was up too, but I'm just tired. But I have started Patricia Wants to Cuddle. We have not yet met Patricia, sort of. So we are following what is kind of The Bachelor. It's called The Catch, but it's really like The Bachelor. There's like tech bro who owns stock in what sounds, it's called like glam pics. It sounds like Instagram. He's the bachelor and at this point there are only 4 bachelorettes left. And conveniently, whoever had this book before me, they made a little post-it note in the front that lists everyone's names and what they are. And I don't know that you'll be able to see it because it's so faint. There you go. But they made this little post-it note and it's so helpful. So we are following Lila May, who is a Christian vlogger, Renee Irons, who is an HR rep, and she is 29, and her friends nominated her. Vanessa, who's a car show model, Amanda Parker, who's a fashion blogger, Jeremy's the bachelor, Dex is the functioning alcoholic show guy, like he's the face who does all the hosting stuff, and then Casey is a producer, so she's in charge of the bachelorettes. She is like their person. Getting another sip of coffee. We arrived on Otter's Island where they're filming the like penultimate episode. We find out the finale is going to be filmed somewhere very fancy, but they couldn't afford to to go anywhere too fancy, and Otter's Island is basically paying them to film there. So they're staying at this like Airbnb, it sounds like, and they're staying with a woman named, is it Maggie? She's in the first chapter. I just want to make sure. Maggie. It is Maggie. I know I said Maggie first. It's Maggie. Maggie, who is a widow. Her wife passed within the last year. Her wife's name was Catherine, which was sad. And they've always run this. They also have sheep. And in the opening of this, there is a sheep who has been injured. I'm not going to say any more detail than that, but there is a not okay sheep to open the book. And then you're reading from different points of view from the people on the show, and then they're also inserting little things from what sounds like a the Catch Reddit kind of. So it's like people theorizing, people who have insider info. So they're all talking about that. Now there have been hints that there's something in the woods as this progresses, and we have been introduced to this like mystery that happened 10-ish years ago regarding some missing hikers. Also, they tell you that Otter's Island used to be a huge like gay area, and Maggie even kind of says like it's sort of like P-Town for lesbians, something along those lines. So there are like, it is a queer island, and I think that is to help establish kind of what's going on here. We also, Amanda, the fashion vlogger, she has 2 moms, and someone else, I think it's Renee, is it Renee? Someone mentions that they're bi, and I can't remember who that is right now. But I am enjoying this. The writing is really fun. I like the little interludes with the Reddit stuff, and whoever made this post-it note is a delight. I would write them a little thank you note if I knew. I am going to try and finish this before work and lunch. Bruni's just going to keep barking. It's really loud outside, and I think, weirdly, they're doing trash pickup today, even though it's Friday, for part of the street. I don't know. It's been a very weird week. There have been trucks out, and it's just strange. Oh, I have to card. I even pulled them out. Okay, so card. I already shuffled these some. So let's double check that I'm holding them correctly. All right, it did do a lot of this already, so this is just gonna be a little doodle-a-doot. What speaks to me? This one. And, oh, it's wands. The Seven of Wands. Ta-da! It's a cool tattoo. And let's find Wands. I almost threw the card. Wands is higher up, I think. Oh gosh, my nose is so runny today. 5 and 7. Alright. Seven of Wands, self-confidence, courage, boundaries. Your success hasn't gone unnoticed, which means that you may have caught the attention of haters. Negative and critical feedback may be annoying, but it is a reminder to stand your ground when your values, beliefs, and boundaries are challenged. Don't respond impulsively. Instead, be prepared and expect this kind of backlash from others. Lead with your courage and passion, put your inner strength front and center, and stay cool, calm, and collected. Don't let others dampen your success. Oh, and the model is Amani Russell, whose pronouns are they, them. Sorry, I did actually say she initially, but they, them. Mostly because all the cards I've drawn so far I think were women, like she, her pronouns. But Amani Russell, they, them. I really like their little tattoo over there. It's really fun. But yeah, so that is the draw for today. I will talk to you when I finish Patricia Wants to Cuddle. My goal is to finish it today because I would like to edit and get this video up over the weekend. So that's the goal. I, though, should go. I'm gonna try and read some. Also, hot. It's so hot up here. I have a fan on. I'm feeling better, but we're sleeping downstairs tonight because it is so hot in our upstairs. And downstairs is like 20 degrees cooler. So yes, we'll be downstairs tonight. Anyway, I am gonna go. I will talk to you about my final thoughts on Patricia Wants to Cuddle and possibly the end of the vlog. Maybe in the next clip. We'll see how things go. Hello, Gremilinos. I know I didn't take you like a lot of fun places in this vlog, but it is my lunch break. My lunch break is over in like 2 minutes, but I finished Patricia Wants to Cuddle, and I do want to talk about it because it was a wild time. Oh my gosh, this was so weirdly humorous. I had a great time. I think if you like reality TV and you also kind of like knowing the ins and outs of like production of a reality TV show and also maybe like a little dash of horror, I would read this. It is a slow build up to the actual introduction of Patricia, but it gets so bonkers. And then there's a little epilogue, which I didn't mind. But like, it was just so wild. Also, there's some stuff in here that I feel like there are other books. I don't want to compare it because it's a spoiler, but I will say there are some elements in here involving loving nature that I think some people will enjoy if they like I'm gonna say cult-ish vibes, but that's not exactly what's going on. But I very much enjoyed this. I'm so glad I read this. I had heard of it, but for some reason I like wasn't quite sure about it. And then I just like was looking for weird queer books because I feel like this vlog is primarily weird queer books. And I was just like, oh, I feel like that would be perfect. And it was. I just really enjoyed this. Also, not that I was going to take you with us because there were going to be kids at the like shelter event thing. We have decided not to go. Krista is pretty tired and had to deal with a very annoying vehicle inspection thing. We live in New York State and you have to get your vehicle inspected every year, and ours is like coming due and she was trying to get it out of the way, and she literally booked an appointment well in advance, showed up, and they made her wait 40 minutes to not do anything. She actually had to go find someone and was like, why aren't you touching my car? Like, what's going on? I told you, like, I'm working today. My boss gave me an hour to come get my car inspected. And they literally were like, oh, well, we didn't have any lifts available and we still don't. So, and she was like, I'm a pre-booked appointment. You didn't tell me that when I came in. So like, not great. Because the car's still not inspected. We have plenty of time. It's just frustrating because car dealerships around here do this all the time. But we've actually decided that instead of going to the winery thing, we need to pick up a handful of groceries, very small stuff. And I want to swing by the library to see if they actually have the summer reading program stuff. Krista had said she was going to grab me them if they had them, and I hadn't checked the bag. And she, when I didn't see them, I was like, oh, what's going on? She was like, yeah, I didn't see anything for the summer reading program, which sometimes they're delayed. Like sometimes the slips don't come in time, so they just like put them out when they arrive. And I'm hoping that since it's Friday, maybe they have them. I have a book in at the library I want to pick up, and I do want to see if they put out any Pride reads. Again, I mentioned this earlier, I am in a very red area, and while typically they do put out Pride books, I know that the library was impacted by some budget cuts, so I don't know if they're gonna like attempt to keep in the good graces of our notoriously very red political environment, which would not be on them. I would understand. I just don't know that they'll have as much flexibility this year. I would hope they'll still put some stuff out in their little tiny area. There's like a little area they put like recommended reads out. It's not a huge area. So I'm just gonna see. I'm not gonna take you with me because again, some schools are out. Some schools will be like for the year around here. Not a lot, but some. And there are some kids who their folks take them to the library over the weekend because it's air conditioned and it's free air conditioning. So there's normally a lot of kids there on the weekends, and it'll be Friday after school, and so, well, after work, but also after school. So I am just not going to bring you. I debated, but I'm not going to bring you. And yeah, so we're just going to run our errands, do that. Tomorrow is very busy for us. So I'm glad I finished out Patricia Wants to Cuddle because brain, literally my brain hiccuped for a sec. Because Krista has a haircut. We want to take the dogs to do like a little drive, get them little pup cups. And Krista really wants to see the He-Man movie. So we have like a lot of stuff we want to try and fit in on Saturday. But we shall see. I need to go though. So I hope you enjoyed this collection of weird queer reads. I need to work on editing tonight. Also gonna take a shower. But I am gonna edit tonight and try and get this up on Saturday. And like get all that done. So yeah, that is really it. Oh, the things, like, subscribe, comment if you want. If you have suggestions for books you want me to read during Pride. Also, dogs are barking. They're gonna be barking. It's so hot out that there are a ton of people on motorcycles driving down my street. But comment books that you know would fit my all gay all month suggestions. If I don't get to them this month, I will definitely get to them in other months. I read gay stuff all year long, so if I don't get to it in June, it's just gonna move to another month. So give me any of your suggestions. Again, because I mentioned it in this, you should be watching Yellow Jackets. Please watch Yellow Jackets. I did verify it is on Netflix. I am irritated that Netflix has taken She-Ra off of Netflix, which is stupid as all get out. But please watch Yellow Jackets. It's on there. I know it is on Paramount Plus, and I believe you can purchase it on other streaming apps, but it is included in Netflix. And Paramount Plus, even though it's only because it's Showtime, and it really frustrates me that they bought Showtime, and that has really moved a number of queer shows under the CBS umbrella, because Paramount is CBS, and I don't like it. But I want you to watch the things so they don't delete them. So I'm just like throwing out there, please watch stuff. But yeah, that is it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye, Gremilinos.